Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm Dr. Kendra Albright, and we are here today to speak with Gladys Kemboi, who is a KM for development expert and very active person in that community. And we're so lucky to have her here with us today. And I'm just going to start right off the bat with having you just do an introduction about yourself and tell us, how did you get into this line of work and where did you come from and all the good stuff about that. So welcome, Gladys.
Thanks, Kendra. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gladys Kemboi, joining from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm proud and passionate knowledge manager. So currently I work as a knowledge manager with Chapaiko, Global Learning and Knowledge Management Advisor. It's based in Baltimore, but I work remotely here in Kenya, supporting various countries in developing and implementing knowledge management strategies. My background is in knowledge management, but before then, I've done a diploma in library and information studies, which it had 3 parts. That is records management, library, and all those information and retrieval. That was by way back then in 2011. So after I finished the diploma now, I stayed for like more than 2 years without a job, looking for a job in library. And I got an opportunity to work in one of the university libraries where I was volunteering just to gain skills and to learn, because, getting a job in Kenya sometimes it's a bit tricky, especially if you don't have skills. So after for 2 years, my internship came to an end and there was no any other alternative. So I wanted to go back to study, but I didn't know what to study in because my mind already I didn't want to pursue library, but I want something new. So, and the idea of knowledge management came in here. Like I was told here at Technical University of Kenya, they offer knowledge management, but I didn't know what is it all about this KM thing. I remember going to the university to submit my applications, I want to do this monster called knowledge management. And I was told, you know what, for you to do this course, we need a quorum of students. I know there were around 5 of them whom they had clear purpose on what they want to do. So through that, I had to influence people because I didn't have any other options. I remember I used to go over the weekend to teach these students, doing lobby for people to fall in love in knowledge management. By the time we finished the campus, we were around 20 of us who had specialized in knowledge management. That was a huge impact. So thereafter, after I finished my undergraduate, I went to pursue master's in information and knowledge management at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture Technology. It's one of the best universities in Africa, and it has become one of the leading universities where every knowledge manager in Kenya goes there to pursue their masters. I did my master's at Jomo Kenyatta for 2 years, and I graduated in 2020. It's one of these universities in Kenya, which gave me an award in knowledge management as one of the most influential knowledge management ambassadors. By then, when I was in JKUAT, I was able to bring so far more than 40 master's students who have gone to pursue knowledge management, because these are most of my mentees that I mentor them about knowledge management. If they want to change a career and they don't know which masters to pursue, like Jomo Kenyatta is the university that you can go and pursue knowledge management. So now one of the challenging parts in knowledge management when it comes to job hunting, or you want now to do the part, you don't have skills, practical skills in knowledge management. And maybe you have learned in most of the universities in Africa, they offer trainings on theory parts, but getting an opportunity, because it's something that is still new, getting practical knowledge on knowledge management is a big challenge. So going to Jomo Kenyatta, I remember in one of the sessions, I was asking a lecturer, are there networks for knowledge management, or is there any groups for knowledge management where someone can join? And I remember he mentioned one of the communities of practice in a WhatsApp group, which okay, I was that curious. I wanted to learn more and to join this platform. So through that, he gave us the people to contact with. And I remember reaching out. It happened to be one of the World Bank former consultant who had done knowledge management. It really opened up my mind to get to know what is all about KM. So we connected, we had coffee. And after that, I said, Gladys, I'm not going to benefit alone. I want to make sure my other fellow master's students knows about this. So I invited for knowledge for CAVE. We had the first knowledge CAVE in 2017 for the master's students who are doing masters in knowledge management at Jomo Kenyatta University. So it was there that we learned about KM4Dev, which I didn't know about it. So I joined the KM4Dev, which it's a forum, it's a free platform which you can join to get to learn about knowledge management. You meet with various KMers across the globe who are in various sectors. So I used to see a lot of posts about one of the amazing, I always call her the mother of knowledge management, Dr. Sarah Cummings. So, but by then, I was not that just active. I was just seeing what is happening with the KM4Dev. In 2019, there was an upcoming conference in Nairobi, the first African Knowledge Partnership, which was organized by Dr. Andreas Partners. I remember reaching out to Andreas that I would love to join his conference. Is there a way on how I can help? The intention, I wanted to learn more. And I was able to give the opportunity to support in terms of facilitating, mobilizing knowledge managers in Kenya, and also including organizations that they offer knowledge management. And within a span of 2 weeks, I was able to bring more than 200 knowledge managers to join the conference. That was a huge. Yeah, that was one of the best conference ever in Nairobi that has ever happened. And mostly these are my networks that I've already invested in. I remember also reaching out to others via LinkedIn. Like, well, come, let's attend this conference. So through the conference, the first African Knowledge Partnership, I remember Sarah Cummings when she was sharing, and I was so keen to learn more about knowledge partnership in the private sector. And my mind came, this is someone I've been reading a lot about her. I connected with Sarah. Hey, Sarah, I'm happy to meet you finally. And it happened we were in the same World Cafe together during the conference and learning about what she's doing. And the first thing I told Sarah, are there opportunities at the KM4Dev? I would love to learn more about KM, contribute. And she told me, maybe she will check with the journal if I would like to join to be one of the editors. Yeah, that sounds great, because I come from Africa in Kenya, where most of the editors is only professors and doctors, and there's no room for young people like me. So that was really exciting. And in 2020, that was May, I joined the KM4Dev as one of the advisory board members for the journal. So I saw the benefit of being in this platform. There is so much that I learned, and also on how I can contribute. And the first thing, there was these knowledge cafes, facilitating virtual knowledge cafes when COVID-19 came in. So it gave me a lot of opportunity to keep on mobilizing and sharing about knowledge management. I remember for the first time in my village, hearing about what is it all about KM and hearing about KM4Dev. It really brought in many, many Africans to join, and also young professionals who are looking up to on how to learn about KM, how to contribute even in international development sector. So that's where my journey of knowledge management career started now growing. So by then I was working with Life Independence as knowledge management advisor. And then through KM4Dev, I've really learned growing a lot, and also connecting with various knowledge managers across the globe where we interacted. There's so much that you can learn from diverse communities who are people in knowledge management. And to cut the story short, so how I found myself with Chapaiko. So last year, I remember when the opportunity came in, I did apply for Chapaiko knowledge learning and knowledge management advisor. And to be sincere, what really contributed a lot is what I've been doing at the global. Like now they're looking at what have you done? What are the achievements at the global level, regional level, and also at the country level? For the global level, it came for KM4Dev that have really contributed, and also getting publishing papers together with various global knowledge managers, which really had me also another advantage. In addition to that, at the regional level, I had already built a communities of practice. We call it Africa KM community, which have brought together knowledge managers in Africa. These are most of the people that are reaching out to me on how I can mentor them on knowledge management. And I like, let me start a communities of practice here. I had already learned about communities of practice with the World Bank and also learning from the KM for them. Immediately, we started a leadership group, which we have representatives from Nigeria, Kenya, and South Sudan. Because for communities of practice to be more innovative and also sustainable, it should not be just tied by one person, but you need to give out leadership and also build the other leaders to lead. Today, I'm quite busy. I may not have more time to support the COP, but there are leaders who are supporting. So now we come at a local level, at the Kenyan level. We wanted to also form other communities of practice to support young professionals whom they didn't have mentors or whom to look up to learn about KM. And that's how we formed the Information Society of Kenya. And we've been following the leadership of the KM for Deaf, how KM for Deaf operate. And this is how we have applied also here in Kenya. Yeah, so that has been my journey.
You've been busy. You have been really, really busy. Gosh, there's so many different things that you can be involved in. I'm telling you, you must not sleep.
When you fall in love with KM, I always tell my people, it's like you're a doctor. If there's an emergency for knowledge management, you have to wake up and provide support. It's just the passion that drives me.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I'm more familiar with Uganda than Kenya, but I do know that when I was doing research in Uganda early in the 2000s, there were a lot of library graduates, MLIS or diploma graduates in LIS, and they would go work for a lot of NGOs doing all kinds of stuff. So for example, I have a colleague there who he's now a director of a medical library, but when he was starting his career, he got a job to bring books on tape to people who were in late stages of HIV, who had been rejected by their families and were living in horrible conditions in the late stages. They were dying, basically. And he would bring them books on tape, and so they could listen and be distracted and that sort of stuff. And he was part of the medical team that would go out, you know, into the rural areas to serve these people. And it was the most incredible job that I ever imagined. And there are so many stories like this, and yet there was no recognized profession in that sense for librarians, and yet they were graduating record numbers of people with library degrees. And, you know, I look back on that now that I'm in the KM world, and I think to myself, you know, filling those gaps, getting knowledge where it's needed at the time, using the available resources that you have, that is the challenge and the benefit that knowledge managers bring. And it's like we've been doing knowledge management for years, but we didn't know that's what we could call it. And now that we have knowledge management as a growing profession and an increasing awareness of people to understand what we do, I think that this is something I'm seeing in the United States, is that once people get the idea of what knowledge management is, they can't live without it, you know, and yet we've been doing it all along, and we just didn't know that that's what we were doing. So I'm so glad to hear that you've got all these things going on. My goodness, Information Society of Kenya, where you're supporting young people. I mean, these are so important. You've got it from the leadership position, and you've got it from the ground up. I mean, I don't see how it can, you know, not get where you want it to be. So with you at the helm, I think that's really good. So that's a lot of good stuff that you've been doing. So tell us about maybe some of your favorite projects.
Wow, thank you so much, Kendra. One of my favorite projects is communities of practice. I love bringing people together where we learn and also organizing knowledge cafes. Through that, we've been really harvesting a lot of information, ideas. For the, like in 2020, one of the 2020, one of the successful knowledge cafes that we had was bringing all the African countries where we learn together. And it was a great opportunity also where we were discussing about a quite interesting conversation, how others, they were looking at that, yeah, you know, knowledge management is colonizing librarians, and others say librarianship is colonizing knowledge management, but they didn't realize that both of us, we need each other. We need to build that partnerships and strengthening these knowledge partnerships together. So we organized a knowledge cafe and we brought in together various expertise in the academia and also those who in the development sector. And we were able to learn together, even including the government. It was a high opener. And now since then, the perception has really changed. I've seen how people are now appreciating the value of knowledge management and librarianship and how it contributes towards sustainable development goals in Africa. Through that, Kenya, we are really benchmarking and learning from Nigeria. They are really doing well in terms of librarianship. On the other hand, also Nigeria is benchmarking with Kenya, where we are doing well in knowledge management. And that way we support each other and even creating opportunities on how we can mentor each other. Other program that I enjoy mostly is mentoring people, especially young professionals who are venturing into knowledge management, and they don't know where to start from. And I remember I have requests from Africa, even including in the US, Russia, Germany, all these different other continents. Yeah, this has been really a great opportunity to see how you support someone and you want someone to see this person succeed in knowledge management. And the first place that I always refer them is to, you know what? KM for Dev is your reference point where you can learn and connect also with other KMers, maybe, who are from your region and you don't know that, yeah, there's someone who is in your country. Apart from that, also, I encourage to get to learn and understand about someone, like maybe in your country, at the moment, you're the only knowledge manager and you don't have a group of other KMers. I support them on how they can start communities of practice or knowledge managers to come and learn together, been providing such kind of a support. So it's been really interesting. Other things that I enjoy mostly doing is to support master's students in their research, especially on knowledge management. Like there's no one who is going to get stuck or left behind. All of us must graduate. And for us to succeed in KM, it's all about unity of purpose. It's all of us seeing others winning together. You cannot say that you're winning alone when you're not helping others to win. So that is all the beauty about KM that I enjoy. Currently in my current organization, I enjoy a lot working with my colleagues, supporting various countries in developing and implementing knowledge management strategies on how they can address and provide health solutions. This has been really inspiring. And also co-facilitating events such as virtual marketplace, where other countries, they can come, display what they are doing. And through that, it's a kind of interesting fostering this knowledge sharing together. In addition to that, also, I love knowledge stewardship. It's been quite interesting, an area that I'm learning in my current role, which focuses a lot on how we can develop various knowledge products, you know, from the beginning of the project to the end. So this is really another interesting opportunity, and also building capacity of KM professionals in the organization, and how also the idea on locally led development innovations and integrating it with knowledge management. This is quite interesting. And this is a skill that I would encourage everyone, you know, because even now, if you look at the jobs in the US, like now someone who is in Kenya, there's so many jobs in the US, but working remotely and you're based here in Kenya, and maybe they're focusing in other African countries. This is another area that people need to focus a lot on locally led development innovations.
Right. Oh, wow. There's a lot going on there. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm talking to somebody about going back to Uganda, so I might have to come over and visit you while I'm there. That would be awesome. Well, this is great stuff. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I have a million things to talk to you about offline, but we'll do that at a different time. So at this point, what I'd really like to do is to just ask you to think about any final thoughts that you might like to share with our students, or any advice you might like to give them, or whatever you want to say. We'll just wrap it up.
Maybe one of the advice that I would like to share is that knowledge is power when we share to provide solutions. I encourage all our students, don't hold that knowledge, keep sharing, keep helping others also to rise whenever they have challenges. And the society is looking up to us. You know, we have pressing current challenges, including climate change, and you realize even healthy challenges. It's knowledge management that can provide such solutions, just connecting the dots and see what solutions do we have. And all of us has this. And the future of KM now, it's about how you push knowledge management agenda to address various SDGs in your society where you.
That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And I couldn't agree with you more. I like the fact that you said it connects the dots, and that we have to push the KM agenda to solve social problems. This is really climate change. That's perfect. I couldn't agree more. This is really good stuff. So Gladys, thank you so much for sharing your time with us this morning or this afternoon. And we're so glad we will have to have you come back again sometime and hear more from you. So thanks again, and have a great day. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kendra. And I look forward to more knowledge exchange, and welcome all to KM for Dev. It's your home.